This is Outnumbered. I'm Andrea Tantaros, and here with us today, Harris Faulkner, editor of townhall.com, Katie Pavlich, National Review columnist, Kat Timpf is back, and today's hashtag One Lucky Guy, Fox News contributor, and Republican operative, Tony Sayegh. And Tony, you are outnumbered.
Feels great. Thanks for having me. Early Christmas gift.
So you went from strategist to operative.
Wow, that's pretty aggressive.
I gave him a promotion.
I love it.
I like that.
Because I think that strategist doesn't do you justice.
Yeah, you sound dorky if you're a strategist. Operative means you get into the grassroots. You take care of business. Strategery.
Yes. All right, let's get to the political news. A big battle between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton after Hillary said this about the Republican frontrunner on the topic of Muslim relations at the Democratic debate on Saturday night. Listen.
We also need to make sure that the really discriminatory messages that Trump is sending around the world don't fall on receptive ears. He is becoming ISIS's best recruiter. They are going to people showing videos of Donald Trump insulting Islam and Muslims in order to recruit more radical jihadists.
Well, there's just one little problem with that. According to the folks at PolitiFact, there's no evidence of ISIS using Trump videos as a recruitment tool, and Trump isn't having it.
It's nonsense. It's just another Hillary lie. She lies like crazy about everything, whether it's trips where she was being gunned down in a helicopter or an airplane. She's a liar, and everybody knows that. I mean, but she just made this up in thin air.
Well, now it falls to Clinton communications chief Jennifer Palmieri to try to walk back her boss's remarks.
What Secretary Clinton was saying last night is that one of the many dangerous things about Donald Trump is that his hot rhetoric saying we should not allow Muslim refugees into the country is being used, and this is something that the Site International Group has, who monitors social media and on ISIS, has said
but there have been no videos.
Well, what they have said is that they are using him. He is being used in social media by ISIS as propaganda. She didn't have a particular video in mind, but he is being used in social media.
Wow. Humana, humana, humana. Someone bought some Maalox. That's a tough job because it's clear that Hillary Clinton went out there and again lied to the American public and blamed a video that didn't exist.
Shocker, right? I mean, Donald Trump should have mentioned that Benghazi YouTube, which we still know was a totally fabricated storyline out of the White House to detract away from what really happened in Benghazi. But the thing that's incredible to me is this has been the Democratic line since the whole idea that perhaps we should suspend the Syrian refugee program. So if you were a Republican presidential candidate and you said that, and by the way, you had 47 Democrats in Congress who agreed with you, you were now the best recruitment tool for ISIS. All of a sudden, Donald Trump takes it a little further, says the anti-Muslim ban. Hillary uses the same exact line President Obama used. I would say the best recruitment tool for ISIS is an American president without a strategy or the will to defeat them. This is a caliphate, a religiously driven group that believes in the divinity and supremacy of their mission. The Allah is on their side. So the only way you actually dispel them of that thought is by beating them, destroying them, and defeating them, and that's not what we've been doing.
Well, and Hillary Clinton is the one that advocated for the ousting of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, Harris, and we know what happened after that. ISIS took control and arguably uses that country as a launching pad for attacks. We saw them doing swan dives, I believe it was, off our consulate there. I mean, she has actually empowered and assisted ISIS.
Yeah, we're going to get more into why she is backing her own strategy and so happy to be where we are in just a moment. But I will say this, Seamus Hughes, who runs that he's an extremist expert, the Associated Press also saying they don't see any evidence of what she's talking about in Donald Trump. This is one of those things where she's probably going to have to prove it. Yeah. Like, she's probably going to have to prove it, or she's going to have to say something. Jennifer Palmieri, paychecks have better not stop coming. Because that girl took some incoming, I mean, boom, she's just taking it. But that's not the voice the American public wants to hear this from. These are really strong words at a time when these vicious savages want to kill us, kill anybody who lives the way we do. She needs some evidence on this one. And if she doesn't have it, I think she had better step up to the plate and say she's sorry.
Well, Katie, she downplayed the threat of ISIS at the debate. That's not true. The New York Times fact-checking a lot of the things that she said. We know that she's lied consistently, and she's got a credibility problem. I mean, her numbers aren't They're not where they should be.
Right.
So how does this affect her campaign? I mean, Democrats just seem to believe whatever she says.
Well, I think it's important to point out that Carly Fiorina's been calling not Donald Trump, she's been calling Hillary Clinton a liar for months now. And when she said it a couple months ago, it was this huge deal, and she got, cream for it in the press for saying it. But it's true. Hillary Clinton is a liar. But in this sense, do you remember when Hillary Clinton said that her enemies were Republicans?
Yeah.
She didn't say ISIS. She's making it more clear as she continues to talk about this issue that Republicans really are her main focus and her enemy. She's blaming Donald Trump and the American political process as a whole for ISIS recruitment, rather than actually pointing out what the threat is and just simply talking about it in a bipartisan fashion. How are we going to deal with the problem? This isn't an issue that has to be political left and right. This is an issue she could talk about in the sense of a general election. But apparently, she just had to make stuff up to get her point across.
Well, we know, too, that she doesn't listen to the generals. I mean, maybe her friend Sid Blumenthal gave her this information that she used on the video and other sources. But, Kat, this is a woman that we've seen. Not only is she incompetent because she couldn't protect our embassy, she, leading up to this, ignored emails, multiple requests from her friend for additional security. She wasn't able to do her job, so she's incompetent at best. Then, that night, she said that she could handle Benghazi with Leon Panetta. We know this. We didn't show up that night. The blood of 4 Americans is on her hands, and then she went and covered it up and blamed it on a video and allocated millions of dollars to Pakistan to take out apology ads based on a lie. I mean, this woman is a perpetual liar who's incompetent.
Right. I think that's
when
why
does she get called out?
The debates are always on Saturdays or Fridays, I think, because she's so bad at it. She says bizarre stuff like ISIS is Donald Trump's fault. Remember when she said that Wall Street ties were because of 9/11? Or she's being very boring. I think they try to do whatever they can to make it so she has the least amount of scrutiny and they can just control what messages are going out there, because she does have a lot of skeletons in her closet. So many.
Yeah.
So many.
Well, Leslie Harris, you look at something like this and you see that she's being called out by the New York Times and others, and you wonder how much longer can the Clinton lie machine, I mean, they've gotten away with it for a long time. When does it end?
Well, Donald Trump has a way of defending himself and coming out strong.
Maybe it stops now.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, we don't know what's coming next. If you were giving her some advice, Tony, I would imagine I could hear you saying these words. Yeah, we got to walk that back.